Le président de la Confédération, Alain Berset, va prendre la parole, puis le président de la République du Botsuana, Keabetswe Masisi. Cette conférence de presse sera tenue en français et en anglais, avec une traduction simultanée à votre disposition. Merci d'adresser ensuite vos questions dans les deux langues. Dear media professionals, I would like to welcome you to this conference of the state visit of Botswana. It is held in simultaneous translation. Mr. President, the floor is yours. Monsieur le Président, la parole est à vous.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président, Mesdames et Messieurs. Très grand plaisir de vous accueillir cet après-midi pour cette conférence de presse qui se tient à l'issue des discussions, des échanges officiels que nous avons eus entre le Botswana et la Suisse. Et comme vous pouvez l'imaginer, le président du Botswana n'est pas ici en Suisse pour fêter le jour du travail, le 1er mai. Ce qui a été décisif pour cette date, c'est en fait la tenue de la Landsgemeinde hier à Appenzell, en Appenzell Road intérieur. Et c'était un souhait que nous avions ensemble de pouvoir nous rendre à la Landsgemeinde suite à la visite que j'ai effectuée en février au Botswana, où nous avons pu visiter aussi une rotla. Et les similitudes, les similarités qui existent entre nos deux pays, nous avons souhaité non seulement les souligner, mais aussi pouvoir, dans le fond, les visiter et les voir, ce qui était le cas hier. Et nous avons, c'est l'occasion de le dire maintenant, évidemment ici, bien que éloignés géographiquement, le Botswana et la Suisse partagent des similitudes extrêmement importantes, et notamment, pour prendre cet exemple, les traditions démocratiques. Ça m'avait beaucoup impressionné dans la visite au Botswana en février. Vous nous direz, Monsieur le Président, ce que vous avez pensé de la Landsgemeinde qui s'est tenue hier, et ce, à un moment important. On parle de démocratie, de tradition démocratique, alors que les démocraties sont aujourd'hui sous pression dans le monde entier, et que dans ces conditions, il est important, plus que jamais, j'allais dire, qu'elles puissent travailler ensemble. Et avec le président Masisi, nous avons justement abordé le développement des relations entre nos pays, signé une déclaration d'intention dans ce sens. Il y a eu donc juste avant les entretiens officiels qui ont eu lieu, auxquels ont également participé mes collègues Guy Parmelin et Ignacio Cassis. C'était l'occasion d'aborder évidemment les questions que je viens de mentionner, mais aussi les questions de développement économique, mais aussi les questions d'éducation, recherche, de formation, et bien sûr toutes les questions bilatérales et multilatérales, notamment au moment où la Suisse entre à la présidence du Conseil de sécurité après être entrée au Conseil de sécurité au début de cette année. Nous avons dans les relations bilatérales un point important dans le domaine de la santé. La santé est depuis longtemps au cœur de nos relations bilatérales. Ensemble, nous nous efforçons de renforcer la protection de la santé dans le monde et nous souhaitons aller au-delà de la santé. Bien sûr, il y a d'autres sujets d'importance pour nos pays. Nous souhaitons renforcer le partenariat dans les domaines de la culture et de l'économie. Actuellement, nos échanges commerciaux se limitent à relativement peu de choses, mais nous avons aussi pris connaissance des projets du gouvernement du Botswana pour diversifier l'économie, ce qui ouvre de nouvelles perspectives, et ce, dans un pays qui connaît une grande stabilité démocratique, la plus longue du continent africain de manière ininterrompue, et également une stabilité pour le développement des affaires. Et dans ce sens, il est important de moderniser l'accord de libre-échange entre l'Association européenne de libre-échange, donc l'AELE, dont la Suisse est un membre important, et l'Union douanière d'Afrique australe, la SACU. Et l'adoption de clauses de durabilité ambitieuses est, aux yeux de la Suisse et des autres pays de l'AELE, d'une importance capitale justement pour l'avancement de ces négociations, et c'était également un sujet de discussion entre nous. De son côté, le président Masisi nous a présenté, ça nous a aussi bien sûr beaucoup intéressé, les opportunités et les enjeux qui sont liés à la zone de libre-échange continentale africaine. C'est un projet essentiel pour le développement économique de toute l'Afrique, et c'est un projet naturellement qui intéresse aussi la Suisse et qui doit aussi intéresser nos entreprises au premier titre. Nous avons abordé aussi les questions régionales, et notamment au regard de la communauté de développement de l'Afrique australe, la SADC, dont le siège se trouve à Gaborone, la capitale du Botswana. Et j'avais eu l'occasion en février de faire une visite de travail importante de notre point de vue auprès de la SADC, qui est un partenaire très important aussi pour la Suisse. Ce sont des relations et des contacts qui sont de plus en plus importants. Et j'ai d'ailleurs abordé cet aspect avec le secrétaire général lors de la visite de la SADC au Botswana. La SADC permet de développer les capacités au niveau régional et de renforcer le multilatéralisme au sein de l'Afrique. J'ai parlé du Conseil de sécurité, de la présidence depuis aujourd'hui. C'est un jour quand même important ou très important pour notre pays. Mais évidemment, nous collaborons sur le plan multilatéral depuis longtemps parce que nous avons cette proximité sur beaucoup d'éléments que j'ai mentionnés tout à l'heure. Et la délégation du Conseil fédéral a pu exposer à cette occasion également, ou rappeler l'importance pour nous de l'engagement de la Suisse au Conseil de sécurité, et ce, dans un contexte et un cadre qui est relativement difficile, avec des crises qui se suivent, qui se succèdent, avec des discussions qui sont encore plus difficiles qu'elles pouvaient l'être auparavant, et avec les objectifs que vous connaissez du Conseil de la Suisse au Conseil de sécurité, avec un de ces éléments que je mentionne ici, qui est la protection des civils dans les zones de conflit. C'est un des éléments sur lesquels j'aurai l'occasion en mai de présider un débat au Conseil de sécurité. Il y aura d'autres débats au Conseil de sécurité sous la présidence suisse. Ça commence tout de suite, évidemment, avec un engagement très très important pour les personnes qui nous représentent dans ce cadre. Les discussions ont aussi porté sur la démocratie, sur les droits de l'homme, les droits humains, sur les conséquences de la guerre en Ukraine, sur le Botswana et sur l'Afrique australe. Il y a eu vraiment un échange, c'est pour ça qu'on est un peu en retard, si vous permettez de le dire, je crois que c'était prévu plus tôt, cette conférence de presse. On a eu vraiment des échanges qui étaient vraiment de très grande importance sur le contenu, avec beaucoup de contenu, ce qui explique aussi un peu ce retard, et on vous prie de nous excuser pour cela. Pour terminer, Monsieur le Président, en tant que démocratie, en tant qu'État de droit, nos pays, la Suisse et le Botswana, sont unis par des liens qui sont très nombreux, des liens qui méritent d'être entretenus, d'être consolidés. Et j'aimerais, à ce titre, Monsieur le Président, vous remercier de votre visite, qui intervient à un moment important pour notre pays. Vous êtes là en visite en Suisse, alors que la Suisse, pour la première fois de son histoire, préside le Conseil de sécurité. Un moment très important pour notre pays, mais aussi un moment très important pour nos relations bilatérales. Et je crois que nous avons cette année donné un élan pour les renforcer, pour voir ces liens se renforcer, pour les futurs échanges, parce que ensemble, eh bien, nous devons relever des défis, bien sûr, mais nous devons aussi savoir saisir les nombreuses occasions qui s'offrent à nous. Donc à vous, Monsieur le Président, à votre épouse, First Lady du Botswana, à votre délégation, encore une fois, bienvenue. Je vous l'ai dit beaucoup depuis samedi, mais je le redis une fois, bienvenue en Suisse et vraiment un très grand merci pour cette présence et ces échanges.
Well, thank you very much, Your Excellency. Let me begin by, while accepting your welcome to Switzerland and that from your dear wife, express on behalf of my delegation, my wife and I, our heartfelt thanks for your very warm, hospitable welcome to Switzerland. And it is not surprising that we're so warmly welcomed, because Botswana is what Botswana is to Southern Africa, and I dare say to Africa, what Switzerland is to Europe. And so we'd like to see ourselves as the Switzerland of Africa, and we'd like to see Switzerland as the Botswana of Europe. The similarities go deep because we share very common values. These common values strike right deep into our DNA, our belief in constitutional order, our belief in the rule of law, our belief and commitment to governance, good governance, our belief and commitment to democratic dispensation. And in terms of our international relations, we have mirror images of the world, our deep respect for multilateral order and a commitment to it. And it's not without, reason that we so believe. We are both small states. we're both land-linked, and we both depend on the others for our well-being. And so we have no choice but to be friends to others. And if they don't like us, make them like us so that we get along. We are axiomatically committed to peace. We are axiomatically committed to stability. And it is these inherent tenets that have drawn us closer together. Your democratic practices as independent, self-ruling nation goes back to, since your constitutional order, a good 170 plus years. Ours is a good 50 plus years. And in the short 50 plus years, we can claim to be the longest or oldest, most consistent, uninterrupted multi-party democracy in Africa. That should speak volumes about the state of affairs of our continent with respect to stability and governance. But nonetheless, Switzerland and Botswana, for the world to hear, we now proclaim to be friends for good. Your Excellency, when you were invited to Botswana, you came with your dear wife and your delegation. When you came to Botswana, we treated you to what we put forward as our best foot with respect to our culture. And alas, to your delight, you saw a bit of Switzerland in rural Botswana, at the Khotla. A Khotla, for those who do not know, is like a lender's mine, right? And so we brought with us a chief who presides over that, that you also engage in. We went to the museum, and you were exposed to the culture in terms of music, the food, and the artistic imagery around there. When we came here, since our arrival, we were treated to a sumptuous dinner, steeped in deep Swiss culture with respect to your historical origins, in a government guest house. And the very following day, we went to Appenzell, the canton, one of the smallest, if not the smallest, in Switzerland, which still practices direct democracy. And so we witnessed the marching order in sequence, in regular, respectful, and orderly fashion. And the inner roads came in first, and of course we belonged to the outer roads, I guess, because we were on the balcony, and then we were on the stairway to witness the goings-on of the meeting. And so we were delighted to see some of ourselves in there, in this direct democracy. Your Excellency, this morning I had the privilege of, in my delegation, going to engage with faculty and students at your hometown, the University of Rimbaud. And they too are committed to federalism, committed to research and development, and a free exchange of ideas. And we have established deep friends with them, and they and ourselves have agreed to collaborate. The Minister of Education is going to be facilitating that over time. And so we had a delightful time, and I want to thank them on behalf of myself and my delegation. The subject of my discussion or lecture at the university was on democracy and the digital era. And so we explained or detailed how our democratic forms of government have been modernized by the infusion of digital technology, and we engaged in a question and answer session. And then this afternoon, I had the privilege and honor of meeting a federal council, the Council of the 7 Ys, or Y7. And so It was really an honor for us to meet, and then, of course, engage in official talks. I shall not bore you with the details of that, because I would only be repeating what His Excellency Alain Berset said. But to gravitate to a conclusion, I must point out that Botswana is not only impressed, but is respectful and will be supportive of your presidency of the Security Council. Botswana is delighted that Switzerland, only 20 years ago or so, joined the United Nations system and now sits at the helm in one of the most important organs of the UN. We think the UN is much better for having Switzerland serve in it, and particularly at its helm, because we can see a bit of ourselves in you, in the commitment to the ideals of the United Nations and to international peace and order. Clearly, as with every friend, you exchange gifts, and gifts do not necessarily have to be of a material kind only. They are conceptual gifts. And in the conceptual gifts we exchange, it is a programmatic bilateral relations that we engage in. And so, Your Excellency, we're very glad to have received the rich gifts that you gave us this afternoon. We're also glad to share with you the gifts that we shared with you this afternoon as we deepen our bilateral relations premised on the values that we share. So I want to thank you enormously and look forward to a long-lasting relationship. It was very refreshing when we met the Federal Council for me to meet the incoming president, who will follow you, and she immediately proclaimed that she will follow in your footsteps. I was very delighted. So I want to thank you and look forward to a real productive relationship between ourselves and yourselves. Thank you.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Thank you, Excellency. On peut ouvrir la ronde des questions. Qui souhaite adresser une première question? Who wants to ask the first question? Please, raise your hand. Yes, you can push the button in front of you and speak in the microphone. You have to keep pushed.
I have to.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Your Excellencies. My name is Mokgweetsi from Botswana Television. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I have only two questions for the two Excellencies, and I would like the both of you to respond to them. My first question is to you, Your Excellency, President Masisi. The Swiss cantonal model, I just want to find out how it has enhanced the democracy of Switzerland, and what is our takeaway as a country, Your Excellency, President Masisi, from this model, as we look to debates at home where sometimes there is a discussion around whether we still need a model that we have in the likes of Botsuana. I know there's been an ongoing debate like that at home, but we see countries that have kept it consistently and are progressing well in the regard of democracy. My second question is the Sudan civil war. As you take up the UN Security Council chairman, will you be taking this up as an immediate issue in your agenda? And to you, President Masisi, how does this now reverse our gains as Africa in silencing the guns on the continent, and how will this impact the progress made towards the AfCFTA as we try to attract investors to the African continent? Thank you.
Do you want to start? Maybe the first question?
All right. Please begin, so that I write the last bit of the question.
No, thank you very much. First of all, maybe to the first question, also from my side, it was for me a real privilege to have this occasion to be with the President Masisi in Appenzell, to have this occasion to visit, to see the Landsgemeinde, and also to explain how to work our federalism and this strong decentralization that we have between the federal level, cantons, and also communities in Switzerland. And it was also, I think, an interesting moment yesterday to meet the government of Appenzell. Those 7 members elected for 1 year. as a government for the canton, and just to remember that we have in the 26 cantons an executive, a legislative, and a judiciary also functioning also on the canton level. To the second question, obviously it is a strong issue for the Security Council, and that means also for Switzerland as a president. We've seen what's happening in Sudan recently as very difficult developments for the whole region. I think the people are just wanting to have the possibility to make their lives in peace, and it is not the case. And I think this strong and very negative development is an issue for all of us, and it is obviously also an issue for the members of the Security Council. Now, how it will be concrete, what we can do in the short term, we will see also with the other members of the Council and the UN system.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. The Swiss cantonal model and what our takeaway is, particularly in the light of Botsuana, and Botsuana is our hereditary chieftainship system. It's very similar to a monarchy. My takeaway as a staunch Democrat is that one of the criteria differences is that, as the President said, these are elected for 1 year, so there's an opportunity to change, if you so wish. With a monarchy, the only change you have is when another one is born and another dies or retires or resigns. So if you are committed to democratic dispensation, particularly when you give persons executive power, it's important for you to be able to exercise your democratic right. So I was amazed, enthralled by what I saw yesterday, very direct, and one of the most telling of where we are in our development with respect to the Swiss is the whole canton of Appenzell voted in that square to raise taxes on themselves. I've never seen that in my life. I mean, I had to scratch myself. It was cold, so I thought I may have been freezing, but they actually raised taxes on themselves. I mean, can you believe it? You should have been there. You know, they actually raised taxes on themselves. So Appenzellers are very good. With respect to the Sudan challenges, I can only echo the words of His Excellency President Berset and pledge our support to his presidency of the Security Council, particularly the uniqueness of the Swiss presidency is their commitment to protecting civilians in armed conflict. And so we look forward to championing this with them. We obviously work through other systems. We at the AU have made our voice and views known, and we support peace efforts. It's a backslide to our commitment to silence the guns. It's depressing, it's unfortunate, it's a real backslide. But it needs to be attended to. We cannot let it go on unattended to. So we will do everything we can to make sure that peace and order is restored in Sudan. But you might know and take note that Sudan has been a little unstable for a while, and clearly trade is hampered when you have conditions such as that. And rest assured, Botswana will do its fair bit to make sure that we have peace. Thank you.
Nous avons encore le temps pour une question, peut-être de la presse suisse. Non? Monsieur, please.
Lesero Mohutsiwa from Radio Botswana. My question, or my two questions, are both to go to both excellencies. There have been similarities that have been mentioned between Botswana and Switzerland. I just want to know how important or critical are these similarities in enhancing the bilateral relations between the two countries, and if there is any case of maybe directing where to prioritize, where to cooperate, And secondly, if these similarities have a bearing in the speed at which discussions can be held, concluded, and implemented to benefit the citizens of the two countries.
If I may start, maybe, well, there is a lot of similarities between us. The similarities are this strong commitment to democracy, strong commitment to the rule of law. We have also as a similarity to have both on both sides very important commodities. In Switzerland, water, in Botswana, diamonds. It's not the same thing, but we have, well, we could maybe exchange, but it's another question. Now, but we have also differences. We are confronted with different issues, with different challenges on our own continents. We have a huge difference by the geography. I think Botswana is, I don't know, but 15 times bigger than Switzerland. We have also differences, and that makes the contact so rich, so interesting also. We have a very good understanding between the countries, and we've seen that. I can say that here. I think we've seen that also in the official talks. Yes. We were very quickly on consistent issues, on concrete elements, not just superficial, consistent elements. And it is possible because we have those good contacts and these similarities, but also these differences, this situation make us stronger. What can this mean for the future? I think it was really interesting today to see that for our exchanges, they were on not very high level in the past decades, and we've seen we have very similar. We have these possibilities to work together. Botswana is for Switzerland a very important partner because of this commitment to rule of law, the stability. You mentioned stability for democracy since more than 50 years. And it is a very strong sign for our firms, for our economy also, to be able to maybe to go there and to develop also some projects there and to implement and to have more exchanges between our two countries. We have signed a declaration of intent. I think it was a letter of intent right now. Well, for those different fields where we want to work together, we have also a long-standing contact and good collaboration in the health matters, and we also decided to continue in that way. And those are the fields where it is possible to develop our contacts and to work more together.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. To buttress what has been said, similarities to enhance cooperation are not only essential, they're fundamental. But it's not just similarities, it's also complementarity. Because the similar things that we have together may not necessarily be compatible. Compatibility and complementarity are very important. And with Switzerland, we find those variables come together synergistically. Besides the fact that we get along, I like President Berset and he likes me. And
I can confirm it.
And our Federal Council and my cabinet, who are here, are very warm. They're very close to each other because of the similarities, because of the complementarities, and because of the compatibility that we have. So those speak to the comparative advantages that we can draw. And we can either choose to do nothing about it, or we can choose to springboard from it. President Berset and I, as leaders of our two countries, have decided, along with our cabinet and the Federal Council, to springboard on it. So we are on a rocket launch, and that's why we signed what we signed this afternoon. We are broadening, we are deepening our collaboration. Minister Dikolote tomorrow is going to a hospital tomorrow, not next week, tomorrow, you know. And this morning, as a university, we took a whole delegation to a cradle of democracy in Switzerland. Not just democracy, but part of the DNA of Swiss democracy that we saw. And in these cultural exchanges and meeting the ordinary grandma, granddaughter, and a farmer that we went to, you engage in the people-to-people collaboration. Botswana is buying a whole lot of semen. The president was a little surprised that we're taking tanks of semen, Swiss semen. Swiss, they've got Swiss passports. And embryos and the tanks. So we'll have some Swiss citizen cows being born in Botswana. And so the similarities are that we both rear cattle for milk and for beef. And we both are determined to make sure that we enhance our collaboration in a variety of sectors. Now, the speed, like the president said, it's really critical that we work with speed to enhance these for the benefit of our people, for the benefit of global peace and order, because when we enhance our survivability and sustainability, the world is a much improved place. So we are leader servants of our people who will work for them until our time is up. Thanks.
Nous arrivons au terme de cette conférence de presse. Peut-être une dernière question très rapidement. Si ce n'est pas le cas, nous allons nous interrompre. Ah, une toute dernière. Très rapidement, very quickly. A last question, very quickly, please.
Myself guilty of probably privileging of all the corporations that you have signed. I have sort of put a lot of emphasis in the area of health. So may I please just ask that you give us a little bit more of meat in the declaration that you signed, or the cooperation that you signed in the area of health, so that I may have to say more. I have said a lot more about it in the past 3 days.
Well, I can start. As you know, and as we've seen during the pandemic, the international collaboration is from utmost importance, and we've seen that more and more and more. And the pandemic was the last call to understand how important it is to work together on an international level. And as I was in Gaborone, I wanted to visit this lab where Omicron was discovered and shared as very important information to the world. And what did the North from that time? It was to close. And I can tell you that also here, I was in Africa also to apologize for that and to say, okay, I think it was the wrong reaction. And we learned from that. But to learn, we need more collaboration. We need to share experiences. That's my point. The second point is WHO. I think we've seen also last time with the pandemics, how important it is to have a good functioning multilateral system on the health issues. And we know that there is a need for more support and better organization for reform for WHO. And as you know, Switzerland was always strong committed to the reform process and to be at the side of the WHO to make this work. And we need partners. We need to do that with like-minded countries. And it was also a very important point for the collaboration between us. I don't know if you want to add
I just want to add, Your Excellency, that we have determined to enhance our collaboration in terms of institutional and knowledge building in our institutions in Botswana. This Masisi Teaching Hospital, for instance, will get support from its Swiss counterparts, which is what the Minister will be working on tomorrow. We intend going forward to collaborate more closely in the route to, the instruments of, and the institutions that help us build knowledge and build a knowledge capital in the health space. We're deeply committed together to international multilateral order in the area of health, and that's why we're so close to the World Health Organization. And Botswana serves on the executive board of that. And so this is really to make sure that we are much more protected when the next pandemic hits us. And we're proud that President Berset, on behalf of the Western world, which shut us out, came on their behalf to apologize. And we have accepted your apology, Your Excellency, but we proudly note that you were the first to come, and so far the only that is apologized. But
I can't speak for the others, it was for us.
we will remain hopeful. And this is what good people do and good institutions do. And he went to the Botsuana Harvard laboratory, congratulated in person all the collaborators in that research that found the Omicron. And it was quite instructive for a country that has one of the highest numbers of patents to come over to a small little country and do that. And if they can, and that's why they've agreed also to help us build our patent capital. Thank you. Thank you. Real pleasure. Thank you.
C'est la fin de cette conférence de presse. Je vous remercie de l'avoir suivi. Je vous souhaite une bonne soirée. This is the end of this press conference. Thank you for your attention. Wish you a good evening.